Leader, you'll remember in our House days, I was actually the sponsor of the bill that allowed local siting of wind. I was that sponsor because at the time, no one was coming here because they didn't have rules to play by in local counties. So we worked all session long with people like the Farm Bureau and the municipalities, IML, the counties, et cetera, to come up with that bill to allow local siting as the locally elected officials on behalf of their constituents deem appropriate. And you know what? I represent 10 counties in Illinois. I almost represent, well, 10 is almost 10% of the total number of counties in this, but I almost probably represent 10 to 14% of the size of this state. I've got several wind farms, several. So I don't want this nonsense that we've discouraged wind farms. I've got several. Few have come through, done a good job. Most haven't. But we have them. But the reason the local control is important, and I want to talk about things that are problems in this bill, and then I want to really talk about why local control is so important. This bill would mandate 2.1 times the setback from your home, 2.1 times the blade height. On a 300-foot-long blade, that's a little over a tenth of a mile, about a city block. So imagine you're a professor at the University of Illinois who's bought your dream home out in the country in Urbana, and then one of these goes up in your backyard, professor. Let's imagine your Piatt County that I currently represent, that Senator Turner's about to represent. It's a very compact geographic county. Between Monticello and a few other communities, there's not a whole lot of space left to put this. But there will be a lot of space left if you go with a 2.1 times setback. And by the way, on the topic of Piatt County Board has had 14 public hearings to listen to the citizens of Piatt County, to listen to their wishes. 14. This bill is going to come in and say, forget you guys, we don't care you had 14 hearings to listen to what people really think about this. We're just going to take away your right to do anything about it, and 2.1 times the length, a city block in your backyard. Now, I mentioned that professor at the U of I a minute ago. Funny thing is, they don't want it either. University of Illinois was going to put up some windmills around Urbana. For those of you from Chicagoland don't know much about it, Urbana is left of Madison. It's probably somewhere between Madison and Berkeley on the progressive leftist scale. This is the Urbana City Council from Urbana 2010, the U of I, University of Illinois, the brightest minds. We're going to put up windmills in Urbana. Solve that climate change. Urbana City Council says, uh-oh, not in our backyard. Not in our backyard. But it's okay to put them in our backyard. Now, you want to talk about climate change? Let's talk about that. Let's talk the science. The science says, here's the science. The impact of wind energy on wildlife and the environment. Papers from the Berlin seminar, published by the Global Warming Policy Foundation. Here's one from a guy from Oxford. The number of birds killed directly by collision of turbines blades is not insignificant. In one study, they estimated 573,000 birds were killed in a year at a single 51,000 megawatt installation. Of those, 83,000 were raptor birds. Why is that important? Because they're the ones that keep all the other species in check. They're the ones who eat mice and rats that prevent vermin from spreading disease. Oh, monarch butterflies? Let's screw that up too. Why is that important? Because we need to eat. Wind turbines, solar. I got Kansas, Illinois, my new area of my district. The best farm ground literally in the world is now covered in solar. How much more do you guys want to pay for food? And you know what the funny thing is? We already have a rule that has created plenty of wind energy in Illinois. Just ask me, I can take you. Macon County, multiple fields. Champaign County, multiple fields. 2 years ago, we overruled We did the same thing. We overruled the township down in Douglas, put up a whole bunch of them in people's backyards in Douglas County. We got plenty of this. And if you let it work, you'll get plenty more, but it will be in places where locally elected officials have said, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to put it there. I want to say one other thing, though, because the most interesting thing I read in this science, there was a conclusion at the end that said, be careful how we trod upon the earth. We don't know what the impacts are going to be. Take your time. Do it right. Here's something. Here's something that's real, that has actually happened. By the way, science, National Weather Service. This is from the National Weather Service. The Lincoln Radar Station. By the way, for those of you in Chicago who don't know where Lincoln is, they do the radar for Chicago too. They're the regional radar for the Midwest. 2018, the Taylorville tornado. When Senator Menard was here, we all passed a bill for Senator Menard because Taylorville got hit by a tornado. 2018, National Weather Service. That tornado produced an EF3 tornado at Taylorville. It also produced several EF0 to EF2 tornadoes. For 15 minutes, the National Weather Service lost track of the frickin' tornado. As it left Macon County on a trajectory, it disappeared. It disappeared in a wind farm. The radar couldn't find it for 15 minutes. Does that mean Monticello gets hit? Does that mean Argenta Orienta gets hit? Or does that mean Clinton gets hit? Or Sullivan? I don't know, because nobody knew where it was. And then it did reappear and they were able to track it. That was in 2018. You know what, folks? Last week in that storm, they lost a tornado again. This time for only 2 minutes. So you know what? When we talk about local siting, here's what Logan County's local siting is. And by the way, I don't represent Logan County. Logan County said, you know what? We're going to work with the National Weather Service to put these in a place that won't disrupt the radar to know where the tornadoes are and the strong storms are, so we don't get killed in the process. I mean, folks, how much more do you want? You want to talk about environment? We're for the environment. You guys, People's Gas up there in Chicago, you polluted my aquifer, natural gas. Family can't drink their water. They can literally light their tap water on fire. That was 5 years ago. Nowhere to be found. Kwame didn't do a damn thing to get them water. The governor, I've had a bill and a handshake from him in the Capitol bill to fix their damn water, and to this date, there hasn't been one penny expended on their water. So don't tell me about the damn environment. People's Gas, you store all your damn natural gas to heat your homes right now. It's stored under my house. My house. It goes from north of Mahomet to Tuscaloosa, Illinois. They pipe it in from the Gulf Coast all year long, and then in the winter, they send it up to Chicago so you guys can heat your homes, and that's fine. But when you screw up my water, when it breaks, the pipeline breaks and screws up my water, you're nowhere to be found. So yeah, go ahead. How much more do you want? Pollute the hell out of downstate Illinois. Pollute our agriculture. You're going to pay the price. When that storm's coming from Chicago, you won't be able to see it on your damn radar either. When your food prices go up, it's because all the farm ground's gone. Quit polluting everything down my way.